Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Naomi, and today I have a yoga and movement practice that is geared towards those of you who are postpartum, if you've newly given birth, or those of you who just want a gentler practice for connecting with your core muscles and rebuilding your core strength. So this is a yoga practice that is something that I've wanted to share for a long time. A lot of the things that I do in this particular practice are specifically ones that I did, or variations of things that I did when I was postpartum, and things that I used to help rebuild my core, particularly the third time around when I was a little bit gentler with myself, a little bit kinder to my body, and a little bit less sort of in that mindset of like, gotta bounce back, something that I had to unlearn. So if you are in that same place and you just want to practice that, helps you rebuild your core, whether you are, again, newly postpartum or whether you are not newly postpartum, whether you've never been postpartum and you just want a gentler yoga practice to help you rebuild strength, this is for you. Now, this is also a practice that is friendly for those of you that have any diastasis recti, for those of you that have any prolapse or any pelvic floor issues. If your pelvic floor is shredded is one of the things, that we often hear, or whether you're experiencing just discomfort in your pelvic floor. This is also a practice that is beneficial and supportive for those of you having those symptoms as well. Okay, so the only things that you will need for this practice are a chair, a block, and possibly a blanket for a little bit more comfort. And quite honestly, this chair, I'm using a chair because I have better light in this room. I did all of the chair exercises that we're doing today on my couch. So you do not need like a fancy high-backed chair for this. You can use your couch, you can use your bed. It does not have to be a hard surface to sit on. Okay, so all that said, let's get started. So we're gonna start on the chair. So you can come on up to stand, rather come to sit. Because you're going to be sitting. Okay, and you're sitting at your chair. You don't need the block yet, but you want to sit close to the edge of the chair. You're going to take your right leg, slide your heel out, lift your heel up, pull your knee in towards your body, and then lower your foot back down to where it started. Slide your left heel out, pull your heel up, knee back in, and put it down. You can keep your hands on your thighs as you repeat. Slide your right heel out, pull your knee up, and put it back down. Slide your left heel out, lift your heel, knee comes in and back down. You could think of this just as an ongoing movement. So I'm still doing this. It's very slow, very steady. And what you will likely feel is just a little bit of low belly engagement. Now you could place your hand on your belly just to sort of pay attention to, are you feeling any pushing forward, right? Anything that's really uncomfortable. If it feels like too much to lift your heel straight up, you could bend your knee before you lift your heel. So all of that is good to do too. And we're just going to do a few more of these here. If you were doing this on a mat like I am, and it's really tricky to slide your heel out, you could just pretend, right? And I'll show what that looks like on the other side too, so you can see. Right? But instead of sliding, right, because my foot is getting stuck on that rubber sticky mat, right, you can slide your heel out, it's slightly lifted, knee in and up. And then just one more on each side, no matter where you are. Last one. Okay, and then staying right at the front edge of your chair. You can grab your block if you want, or you can just have your arms out in front of you. I like having a block mostly because it gives me something to hold on to. It gives me a little bit of counterbalance. You're going to lower back until your shoulders hit the back edge of your chair and then lift back up. Okay, lower back until your shoulders hit the back of your chair and lift back up. Okay, now if that feels like too much, having the block out in front of you, you could set the block down to your knees, slide it back along your legs, and slide back up. If you're not using a block at all, you can slide your hands up towards your thighs and slide back up. And as always, you can place your hand on your belly just to make sure that you don't feel any of that coning, which is what is generally said you're really looking out for in core exercises, is that you want to make sure that there's no doming or coning of your abdominal muscles, because that can be not so beneficial. That can be counterproductive when you are working to heal any diastasis recti in particular. Okay, but one more slide back. Arms forward or at your thighs, and slide back up. Now, the last thing that you're going to do sitting in the chair like this is press your hands into your thighs. Now, as you press your hands into your thighs, you'll feel that pressure downward. And you don't want to feel like, any severe discomfort. You're just pressing your hands downward. And you should feel your core muscles tightening a little bit, waking up a little bit. Right, as you press your hands downward, the back of your body is going to move back. Your ribs will knit in slightly. And then let it go. Okay, repeat that. Press your hands into your thighs. So you're filling up into the back of your body. And you can have one hand on your belly as you do this if you like, just to get a sense of it. And then let go. Press your hands into your thighs, one hand on your belly. And then let go. And just a few more times, press hands into thighs. And let go. And if you're feeling pretty strong doing that, you could press hands into thighs and lift one foot up and put it down. Lift the other foot up and put it down. You're going to feel a lot of that in your hip flexors too, because your hip flexors are doing the work. So you're going to feel that in that place between your thigh and your torso, and that's fine. So you can do a little bit of lift there, pressing your hand into your thigh and going down. Okay? And if you're doing that, just one more time in each leg. And then just let your whole body relax. Now, this might be one little set for you. So what you might say, because we've been at this for about 6 minutes or so now, 5 minutes really, since I stopped talking at the beginning. You might say, okay, cool, that is one set, and I'm just going to pause and maybe do all of that again. You might just turn it off and say, that was good for today. I really felt my core muscles working. That was exciting, and I'll just do it again in a few days or tomorrow or whatever. So you could stop this video right now and call it good. If you want to proceed, we'll move on down to the next couple of exercises. So next thing that you're going to do is on your knees. Okay, you could do this standing as well. So either is fine. I'll do it standing, then on my knees. So you're going to bring your forearms to your chair or to your couch. Your knees can bend a little bit, right? So your spine is really long, your butt is going back. What you don't want to do is round through your low back and really hang toward the chair. Rest your forearms on the chair or your couch or your bed, whatever you've got going on. Give your knees a bend, a little bit of a bend. And then just very gently press your forearms into the seat of the chair and round up through the back of your body. Okay, now again, you can place your hand at your belly and just sort of feel for any of that doming or coning, right? If your abdomen is pushing forward, if you feel a push forward, then you just stop and let go. And you could even just do some gentle squats here instead, which is really fantastic for your pelvic floor. Okay, so if that rounding doesn't feel good, right, this is just a really great, if you just do squats, it's a really great exercise in that way. But again, you can press your forearms into the chair, round up, give yourself a little lift there. Woof. And then let it go. And like I said, you could also do this kneeling, pressing your forearms into the chair and rounding up and back, right? And that's going to be a little bit more protective, right? Because there's less opportunity to dome here slightly. And then let it go. You can't do the squats here though, right? You could shift your hips back and up, hips back and up. So if doing this on your knees doesn't feel great, you could also just, whoo. And that shifting back and up is really good for your pelvic floor as well. So a couple of options here. Now, if you are still on your forearms and standing, the next thing that you can do, right? So your knees are slightly bent, your spine is long, forearms are on the chair. You can step your left leg back, press your forearms into the chair or your couch, whatever you're pushing into, and then step forward again. Step your right leg back, press your forearms into the chair, round up, and step forward again. Press your forearms into the chair, and you'll feel your shoulders lift too, which is fine. Just step back. You're trying to elongate through your torso, and step up again. Right leg goes back. Press your forearms into the chair so you get a lot of a lift through the back of your body, and then step up again. Now you could also alternate. Left leg goes back, and you could reach your right arm forward and step back up. Right leg goes back, reach your left arm forward toward the back of your chair. Right, left knee stays bent, right? And step back up. Left leg goes back, reach your right arm toward your couch, towards your chair, toward whatever is there. If you're at your bed, it's going to be a little different. You're just reaching into space and then step back up. Right leg goes back, left arm forward. Okay, and then back up. Last one, left leg back, or last 2 times. Left leg back, right arm forward. Press your left forearm into the chair and back up. Right leg back, left arm forward, round up. And then step back up, okay? And then you can just very gently ease yourself up. And again, that might be another set for you, a little bit shorter than the first one, but this might be another one where you say, okay, that was good for today. I might do that whole sequence again, right? So you come back and do that rounding and stretching, rounding and stretching, maybe some of the squats, and then those step backs with an alternate. That could be another set that you do a few times through, right? Gently with your breath, and then say, I'm good for today. Okay. In this video, I really just want to give you lots of different options that you can do and that you can sort of tailor to your own needs and your energy levels. Okay. So if you want to move on to the third set, the last set, it's going to be all on the ground. And I'm going to move the chair out of the way because really you don't necessarily want to be doing this on a chair, although you can. I would say if you were doing, I'll show you how it would look like against a couch because I've got enough push here that my chair is not going to move back. But you really want to be able to push your feet into a wall for the second part of what we're going to do, okay? So first thing that you're going to do is lie on your back, okay? Place the block in between your thighs. Give that block a little bit of a squeeze, okay? Hands on your belly, just again, so you can have a sense of like what's going on here. And what you can do first is just, and this is a little bit more beneficial for those of you that have any diastasis recti, but it's just in general a really great way to connect the movement of your breath, the movement of your body, right? So hands on either side of your ribs, sort of spanning between your low ribs and the top of your pelvis. You need to just take a full breath in so you feel the breath fill out into your hands. And as you exhale and that breath moves out, you squeeze gently your fingers toward one another. And then again, you inhale, the breath expands into your hands, so your hands are going to widen. And then as you exhale, squeeze in. Okay, last time. And again, this is something you could do every single day, this one simple thing. And really just, it's like you're trying to wrap the sides of your body inward, your fingers toward one another to create that connection, as though you're trying to knit yourself back together. Okay? Now, once you've done that, you can keep your fingers on your belly for everything else that we do on the floor, just so that you have tactile awareness of what your abdominal muscles are doing. Right? Again, paying attention for any coning or any bulging, anything that doesn't feel good in your torso, in your abdomen. Okay, and then all you would do is lift right foot up and put it down, left foot up and put it down. Squeeze the block, right foot up and down, left foot up and down. Now you can do, so these, I like to call them heel taps or toe taps. So if you're doing heel taps, it would be right heel up, heel down, left heel up, heel down, right heel up, heel down, left heel up, heel down. Now you could also do toe taps, so that's just your toes on the floor. Toes down, right toes up, right toes down, left toes up, left toes down. Okay, and again, whether you're doing heels or toes is more a matter of comfort. Being on your toes is going to press the lower part of your back a little bit more to the floor, so if that's uncomfortable, don't do that. Okay, heel taps is going to do a little less of that, right? It's going to keep it a little bit more neutral. And it might help move your ribs toward the floor. So again, it just sort of depends on your body. I'm still doing them. And then let it go. And you can just take the block, just remove it for a moment. Okay, the block is really nice just because it can help create a little bit more tension, a little bit more steadiness, a little bit more support for your pelvis. Okay, so you don't have to use a block there, but it can be really beneficial to create a bit more engagement there. Okay. The next thing that you're going to do is you are going to do, and I will show you this 2 different ways, both at the wall, okay, and at a chair. Okay, so at the wall, I'm turning around. Same idea. I'm adjusting my hair though for being at the wall. You can place the block between your thighs, give a little squeeze. Okay, and in some ways it's the same idea. You're just extending your leg up and bringing your foot back to the wall, extending your other leg up, foot back to the wall. And again, hands on your belly just to get a sense of what's going on. Okay, leg up and at the wall. And again, the squeeze of the block in between your knees and your thighs just gives you a little bit more tactile awareness of your inner thighs, creating tone for your adductor muscles. I know I'm still going. But having the wall there also gives you a little bit more support for your core. Now, what you could also do is extend your right leg up and left arm up. You're not reaching, you're not trying to touch your toes, right? You're just alternating. So left leg goes up, left or right arm up. Okay, so your elbows can rest next to your torso. If your right leg extends, left arm extends, and then it comes back down. Left leg extends, right arm extends, and come back down. And again, having that block there just helps give you a little bit more awareness of the muscles of your legs and your pelvis. And it creates a sense of connection. Okay, now you can keep going, but if you are at a chair or at a couch, you could do a similar thing. You could push your feet into the edge of the couch. I don't have that though because it's going to rock back. So instead I can put my heels at the chair. And it's the same idea, right? I just extend one leg up and down, other leg up, squeeze the block and down. Okay, so if you only have a couch and you can't push into it, or you only have a chair and you can't push into it for whatever reason, putting your heels on the edge is a really great alternative. Same thing is going to be true with those arm extensions. So that alternating left leg goes up, right arm goes up, and then back down. Right leg extends up, left arm extends up and back down. Right? So it's smaller movements so you can start to feel your core muscles work and just reconnect. Okay? So once you're done with that, you can place your feet on the floor, rest your hands on your belly, knock your knees in. Full breath in and out. Whew. And again, this last set of exercises that we did is another great one that you can just do those supine ones, either at the chair or at the wall and on the floor, just as their own little unit. So what you really have in this video are 3 sets of exercises that you can do very gently for your core, particularly if you are postpartum, particularly if you're working with any diastasis recti, any pelvic floor issues whatsoever, that you just want to do a little gentle work to connect the full spectrum of your core together instead of just targeting one area. Okay, and also just helping rebuild. Now, part of the reason that I wanted to share these exercises is that I have a 5-week program called Yoga for a Healthy Core. And one of the most frequent questions that I get asked about this particular program is this program safe for if I'm working with diastasis recti? Is this program safe if I am, working with any pelvic floor issues of any kind, any prolapse? And, is this something that I should be doing? And generally speaking, my answer is yes. We're not really doing anything, so extreme that there would be too much doming or, anything that would, just be excessive force downward on your abdominal muscles. Okay, because we're not doing high up planks and we're not doing sit-ups. Now that said, both planks and sit-ups are totally fine to do postpartum once you are really creating those foundational layers of strength, a lot of which we did in this particular video, and a lot of which we do in the Yoga for a Healthy Core program. I just don't explicitly say it. And so what I wanted to do in this video is show some of the actions that you actually do in that program, just on a smaller scale, so that you can see what they are and implement them when you need them. Hey kiddo, Wildcrats isn't working. Okay, I'll come help in just a minute. You want to sit with me until I'm done? So as you can see, I am not recently postpartum. This is my youngest, and she's almost 3. She's 4 months away from being 3. But everything that I did here and everything that I did in the Yoga for Healthy Core program are things that I did when I was postpartum with her, and my core and my pelvic floor are much, much, much healthier than they were when I was after I was doing all these rather than when I was newly postpartum, and also much healthier than they were after my first 2 pregnancies. So whether or not you do the Yoga for a Healthy Core program with me doesn't matter to me. Of course, I would love for you to do it if you want to. What's more important is that you have access to these foundational exercises that you will also see in that program if you choose to do it, that you can apply to some of the more challenging exercises in that program to help keep you safe and to keep you working on those foundational levels of core support and rebuilding your core when you need them. So thanks for tuning in. I hope that this was useful, and I hope that this gives you and your core muscles and your pelvic floor the support that you need right now. So until next time, bye everyone.